Hello and welcome. I'm Robert Wright, a principal sales engineer with NETSCOUT. I will be presenting nGeniusONE as it relates to VDI. In today's example, I will be leveraging Citrix technology, but please note that even though this demonstration includes Citrix, it's not the only VDI solution that we can be leveraging inside of nGeniusONE, or rather, it's not the only VDI that we can monitor. That's a key thing to understand, that this is applicable to other technologies you may have in your industry, in your corporation today, or maybe you'll have there tomorrow. So let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, this is nGeniusONE. This is the service dashboard. NETSCOUT is a packet-based solution. So we're leveraging our InfiniStream appliances at various different points of the network, such as our internet edge, our WAN edge, behind the VPN concentrator to gather this data. Now, we are a packet-based solution, so we're able to pull in a very, very rich data source, one that has intelligence to tell us when there is problems. So we're able to quickly, visually understand where my problem lies. I have the ability to combine application metrics with network metrics. So now I'm able to understand, do I have a pure bandwidth consumption problem? Or do I have an issue within my VDI environment? Or do I have a problem with a service enabler? That is an application service, such as DNS, that is causing problems for me. So let's go ahead and get started. We have in this upper left-hand corner, key network metrics. At any time, I can left click and be able to see the consumption of my network. That could be the Citrix network. That could be my MPLS. That could be my internet. I can have multiple of these tiles on my screen for consumption of my users. I can also go back in time to understand when this problem may have occurred or didn't occur. Sometimes our users, when they complain about problems, they say, well, it happened sometime yesterday. I can go ahead and within nGeniusONE, within the service dashboard and many different views that we won't even touch today, and be able to go back in time and understand, that's what time it occurred, and provide fact-based information that's backed behind packets to be able to give us these key details. But let's move on besides just pure network bandwidth statistics and understanding who's consuming our bandwidth. Now, as we move across here, we're starting to see Citrix users, Seattle, New York, San Jose. These are just purely examples in my solution, but think of how this applies in your own environment. Now I can pull information about those particular users, my user groups, into my service dashboard, and at a glance understand, San Jose is having a little bit more of a performance problem than, say, some of my other users. I'm doing so without even clicking. This screen is updating every 5 minutes. So now let's go ahead and use a couple examples of use cases that I can leverage. First of all, is maybe I'm relatively new to your environment. Maybe I'm trying to understand how the entire environment flows. I have the ability within nGeniusONE to pull up a service dependency map. And I'm doing so at any point in time. I can actually go back in time and understand how my application looked. It's excellent in those cases where everyone's pointing fingers at each other and like, well, did we make a change or didn't we make a change? You can actually go back in time and see. But let's go ahead and zoom in on some of this information. If I go ahead and zoom in, I'm starting to see some of my VDI desktops. Zen VDI 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now I'm able to pull key metrics out of my environment to understand anything from latency to load to failures. Remember, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, the protocols are intelligent enough to tell us when there are problems. So if it should be a problem, I'm able to detect that within nGeniusONE. I can change my metrics to find out if there's a particular problem. In this particular example and use case, what I'm stating here or responding to is that folks are telling us, I'm unable to access your application. I'm unable to access VDI. At that particular time, it may be understood that, oh, we need to send all of our war room to focus on only Citrix information, or VDI to be more generic. Instead, here, what we're doing is understanding that 88% of the time in the last hour, when someone attempted to go to resources associated with our VDI infrastructure, it was failing. That's critical for us to understand. And now I can understand, oh, okay, we're having issues associated with name errors. Maybe someone mistyped it. Maybe someone deleted that DNS name. And if you're unfamiliar with DNS, effectively, DNS is like the phone book. It tells our users how to connect into Citrix. But it's a completely different system than the VDI infrastructure as a whole. So now I'm able to identify not just problems with Citrix, but the underlying infrastructure that's supporting Citrix or my VDI infrastructure. So now I can understand, it's really only DNS that's really having the problem. Let's engage that particular team. Let's focus there, all of our efforts, and get that resolved as quickly as possible, because that's why users can't connect to our environment. Let's go through another example. Let's say for case that our end users are reporting that there are problems. There are problems where things are just kind of slow. What we're able to do is be able to say, okay, where at is the slows? Notice I changed my metric from failures to timeouts. I could also do slow response times, for example. And notice that my screen is immediately updating. And with this, I'm able to say, okay, my ticket says in the last hour or so, I can change that time if I remember, I'm having difficulties, I'm having slowdowns. And as I look across, I can very quickly see that the Citrix Zen app is running slightly slow. So now I can focus my efforts to understand, okay, what's occurring? And I can dig in just like how I did last time. But I can also left click and understand, is this a consistent problem? Notice this red line. Or is this a sudden occurrence? So I can start understanding the problem statement, understanding if this is impacting all of my users or not. Additionally, because we have all this information, I'm able to do all these different triage that we've went through very quickly. You may ask yourself, Robert, this is great. This is exactly fitting my problem. But can you tell me if I'm having problems now? Can you alert me? Can you do anything around that? Yes, we can. We have the ability to take all that smart data that we're generating from those infinite streams across to your enterprise, or simply at your internet edge, your MPLS edge, and inside your data center to understand, yes, you're starting to trend in a way that shows DNS is that issue. Your VDI infrastructure is running slow. Now we're able to provide you that complete solution, ranging from network to VDI infrastructure to applications. Here we demonstrate DNS. Think of Microsoft Word or others. We can dive into the backend infrastructure or software as a service as well. That concludes our demo today. I hope you found it beneficial and that you're understanding that we can understand VDI and triage the different components of VDI and our users that are consuming it. Thank you and have a fantastic day.